This Nickelodeon scandal has us 90s and 80s babies in shambles, okay? We grew up on Nickelodeon watching the shows that they're talking about.
What's good, people, and welcome on today's episode. If you're joining for the very first time, thank you so much for being here today. Have you guys seen the documentary Quiet on Set? The dark side of this TV kids, this Nickelodeon TV stars, and what they had to go through in the hands of their coach Dan Schnatters. And it's been a conversation online because a lot of people are finding this very shocking. A lot of people are just so surprised at the fact that while these kids were on set with their coach that was supposed to be protecting them, a whole lot of bizarre things were going on, and they are just now finding the courage to be able to speak up. Like, it's one of those documentaries where these people literally saying it would not even pass their words across because of the pain, the trauma, the flashback that it is literally giving them. Have you seen the Quiet on Set documentary? Let me know what you think about that in the comment section. A lot of people who literally watch Nickelodeon growing up are talking about this and just sharing their 2 cents and how they feel about this. And the fact that their coach Dan is still granting interview is actually the craziest part of this entire thing. But before we even go into that, if you are triggered by, child, you understand, please stay away from this particular one because people are discussing how they feel about what the child star went through in the hands of their coach. So if you're triggered by stuff like that, I would just say please just stay away. So without wasting much time, let's get right into what the people are saying about the life of this Nickelodeon child stars.
I think I finally understand what we thought were safe. Like, imagine having to bear witness to somebody else's fetish without your consent at all. And it's broadcast to millions. Why did I say imagine? It happened. But still, why does this feel dirty as hell? Because now, every time I think back to my childhood, looking at these Nickelodeon shows, it just feels wrong. Why do people gotta mess up everything?
As a Nickelodeon kid, I am not okay. And it's not just Dan Snyder. It's really the entire environment that Nickelodeon literally enabled at the expense of them children. After watching that documentary, I'm definitely gonna need to talk about it with my therapist, and it's so much to unpack. I mean, the way they had Ariana Grande sitting in that bed with that potato, as a parent, I would have tore that whole stage up. And then, of course, the black mama got pushed off the show because she's difficult to work with because she recognized y'all was being inappropriate with her child. I had her doing a whole bunch of shallow, surface level, racial stereotypical jokes. And then the nose skit, like, it was obviously inappropriate. It was like literally noses on this man's shoulder that looked like them things. And you had snot that would look. Man, and it wasn't just Dan Snyder. It became a part of our scene. They started like picking out different people that was a part of like the backstage crew and staff. And it was like, damn, 3, 4, damn. I'm really still processing it. I'm definitely gonna come up with a better analysis, man. But like my childhood really ruined. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about I identified as a Nickelodeon kid. You feel me? They broke Amanda Bynes. I was thinking about taking my kids to Universal Studios because I always wanted to go when I was a kid. And they kind of wanted to go. But now, I don't know.
I think the most disturbing thing about Quiet on Set is that these kids couldn't even depend on their own parents to protect them. There's freaks and there's pedos everywhere, especially in that industry. But the fact that these kids couldn't even depend on their parents is what blows my mind. And I really try not to judge because I know fear stops people from doing a lot of things. And I try to be understanding. But you're going to tell me you're a mother and your 13-year-old daughter is getting pictures from a grown-ass man touching himself, sending them to your 13-year-old daughter, and you're not gonna call the cops? You're not gonna raise hell? You're not gonna make sure this fucking freak goes to jail? You're not gonna make sure that he's not gonna do this to another little girl in the future? This shit gets me so mad. I get so emotional about it because you are all your kid has. And these people will turn a blind eye for money, fame. It's disgusting. And I don't want to hate on the mom in that doc because I know it was probably hard to talk about this and I'm sure she feels remorse. It's just so crazy to me. We are surrounded by Brian Pecks. Protect your kids.
This Nickelodeon scandal has us 90s and 80s babies in shambles, okay? We grew up on Nickelodeon watching the shows that they're talking about. But more importantly, Child stars have been telling us this since the dawn of day. They have been letting us know that they were not safe since they were able to speak out. We just wasn't listening. And let's be clear, this is not only happening to child stars. This has been happening to children for decades at the hands of adults. You know why? Because adults hold a level of power and authority that forces kids to listen to them. Kids who don't have access to fame or are not famous are experiencing the same thing every single day at the hands of adults who don't have the ability to find people within their age or have fantasies about dealing with children. And I see a lot of people saying, oh, it's the parents' fault. I blame the parents. We need to blame the parents. And I'm not absolving them of any responsibility in this. I think it's clear that they have a role that they played in this. But I also want you to know that the parents are being groomed at the same time that the kids are being groomed. Adults who are grooming kids don't just go after kids. They go after the adult to make you feel either comfortable and safe with them being in your child's presence or going out of your way to make you seem like you're delusional. In the docuseries, Drake's father says it clear as day. That man went out of his way to drive a wedge between him and his son. How? By telling him that that man was controlling his money in a way that was negative. Why? Because he wanted to get closer to the child and the father was blocking it. And this is why I don't trust nobody who get too friendly with my kid as an adult. Because what are you doing? Okay, back it up, back it up, back it up. But also, many of you may know this if you follow me for a while, but I used to model. I was on Project Runway once. And I'm going to tell y'all a quick story. So my mom found this guy who was an agent, self-proclaimed agent. He was actually a photographer who decided that he was going to start being an agent. She got in touch with him. They decided that he was going to represent me for a while. Now, he was all about the funny business. He would consistently try to force me to spend the night at his house talking about, oh, if you want to build camaraderie with the other models, then we have to spend time together and we're having a sleepover, so you should come over. Now, me personally, I don't like sleeping at nobody else. So it wasn't nothing but me saying no because I'm not sleeping at nobody's crib and I damn sure ain't sleeping on nobody's floor. But he kept trying to push this. And I remember my mama don't play. You know what I'm saying? At the time, I was like 18 or 19. She still didn't play. I was never sleeping over nobody's house for real like that. So whenever I said no, my mother backed me wholeheartedly and was like, nah, he's not coming. And then he would do small things to push boundaries. Like, because you're modeling, they consistently want to see your body. So he would be like, I need to see what you look like. I need you to take your shirt off, so on and so forth. And yeah, it made me uncomfortable. But when you're trying to make it, when you want fame, you're willing to do that because you're like, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. And one day, he fixed his lips to say, yeah, you know, you got to do what it takes to get big. So if I told you that I needed you to model in a thong, you're going to have to put on the thong and take pictures. So I said, jokingly, but dead ass, I guess I'm never making it big. Because ain't no way. But looking back on it, all of those small moments was him trying to groom me to do something inappropriate, and I refused to participate in it. Now, I can't speak for the other men or boys who were participating in his camp, but nobody made it big. Nobody was successful, and he was having sleepover with people's kids. Okay, I need you to understand that. They prey on vulnerable kids who just want to make it, and they know that they're in a dynamic of power. They are your employers. And so they force you to do things, and they make the families feel like if they say anything, then you're going to lose everything that you got. So yes, the parents may have played a role because my mama wasn't playing that, but at the same time, these people are grooming parents and kids, and they're using money and access to do it. Y'all stay woke.
At this point, I'm questioning a lot of what I found funny as a child. Because seeing not just like children's television, but like live action children's television with actual child actors, and seeing who was creating and writing these jokes for kids to say on television, and approving those and allowing that to happen on television. In the 90s and 2000s, the adults and parents of these children who are watching this content, are the adults watching this too and not thinking what we're now thinking today when we watch those clips? I know we didn't have social media back then where it would have been much more accessible to voice our opinions about those concerns and those images, but it goes to show you that at least in the example of Nickelodeon, Even though the audience was for kids, the jokes were created by adults and ultimately for adults. And I guess no one batted an eyelash because it's on children's programming, so of course it's for kids, right? Is that what people were thinking when they saw that? There's a way to make edgier kids comedic television for tweens and even like just teenagers without sexualizing the child actors and without having the child actors perform these images and acts in a sexual manner. A lot of the stuff ultimately went unnoticed because of just the people that were in power enabling this to continue to happen. And at this point, was Nickelodeon's like live action children's programming truly for kids? Or was it for adults who found the content and comedy that these kids were doing under the control of Dan Schneider, they finding it funny, they finding it amusing and entertaining? Was that the audience? All I know is there's a special place in hell for everyone involved, and let that ongoing toxic, hostile work environment and the ongoing abuse happen.
Dan Schneider responds to the Nickelodeon documentary Quiet on Set. My question is, why is he sitting there talking and not in jail where he belongs? That's my question as well. Like, literally, he needs to be locked up right now. Just to summarize the documentary, it's just basically him shifting the blame and saying, "Oh, I'm sorry if I did that to you." Honestly, he is not taking accountability for any of his actions. He's not being punished for his actions. What he did was an atrocity to all those kids who grew up with mental issues and issues in general for what they did to them. Like, he was an adult man. He should have been taking care of those kids and not taking advantage of them. Not just the kids, but the female writers that he harassed, the people making it a hostile work environment for his employees. He didn't care about anybody but himself. He just cared about making money, and that's it. When I saw that he split the salary of two female writers, the audacity. What he made her do in front of a group of people, the audacity. I can't believe this man is still here. How is our justice system? This is unfair. These people need to have justice for what was done to them. And the interviewer needs to do better. Basically, it's him just saying, "It's okay, man. You're fine." Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This man, this is not fine. This is the opposite of fine. Where is the justice? Justice for Amanda, Victoria, Ariana Grande, and all the other childhood kids that were affected by him. How he treated the black stars even worse. Didn't treat them the same as their white counterparts and made them feel less than. Makes me sad.
If you have seen this documentary, please share in the comment section what you think about the documentary and how you think the parents played a role in how these kids were being treated. And if you haven't seen it, from what the stitches have to say, from everything they explain and the points they shared, what do you think about all of this? And a lot of people are even pointing out other kids' channel as well that people should pay attention to. Because of this man's fetish, it ruined so many kids' mental health. It gave them trauma. It made them do unquestionable things. And he's still granting interviews, like for real. He's still granting interviews. And people who don't even commit such level of atrocity are behind bars, but he's still doing interviews. And the interviewer is still saying, it's okay, get your words out. Like, what exactly is going on? Like, everyone who has watched Nickelodeon shows and stuff, probably by now is just like, and I understand what the other guy was talking about, saying they groom the parents and the kids together. They try to make sure to convince the parent that they are safe in their hands and they are free to get closer to their kids and able to fulfill their devilish acts that they want to do with the kids. So what do you guys think? I totally agree that the parent played a major role because there's a way that we use money and their kids not getting closer to the film. The problem is to silence their kids. And we know when money is involved in a lot of things. The most annoying part about this entire thing is the fact that Dan Schnappers is still on an interview, literally on an interview, still talking about this. I would like to hear what you guys think. What was the biggest shocker? Because The people who were even able to get the courage to speak up, they were even still struggling and still, mumbling on their words. They can't even get that out. So I would like to hear what you guys think in the comment section. If you watch these Nickelodeon shows growing up, let me know your take on this. And to the creator who talk about how maybe because there's no social media is the reason why the parents are not pointing it out, because some of the things that people are now pointing out about these shows, she was like, weren't the parents seeing it back then? Why are they not talking about it? Or is it because there's no big use of social media like it is in the world today? Is that why they could not actually voice their opinion, or they are just seeing it and enjoying it or not totally paying attention? And this is the reason why parents need to pay attention to what their kids are watching, even if they tag it as a kids TV, a kids show, a kids channel. They still need to pay attention to what these kids are watching, because there are these pre people everywhere. This is the reason why you see a baby picture in diapers saved by 33,000 people. Who are those saving those pictures? This is the reason why we need to be careful. This is the reason why parents as well need to be very, very careful about the environment that they put their kids, and as well create an environment for their kids to be able to open up to them and tell them this is exactly what is going on, because it's so important. They are 13, they can talk. Maybe the environment they are in is not allowing them to free themselves and to talk to their parents the way they would have wished to talk to their parents at the time. Know what you guys think about this documentary in the comment section. Let's continue this conversation there. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe before you go and turn your bell notification on. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.